Persian service is promoting Iranian regime homophobia. The LGBT+ community in Iran and the West is in uproar after the BBC Persian service has been twice exposed promoting the homophobic views of the Iranian regime. In one instance, on its website on December 28, 2020, BBC Persian published a post calling LGBTs faggots, compared them to opium addicts and people who commit incest and implied that they are an abomination. A PDF of the homophobic website post is available on request. On another occasion, BBC Persian mockingly referred to so-called LGBT Pride and apparently attempted to out an Iranian interviewee. This was broadcast on its TV channel on July 6, 2019. The video is still online, despite protests by LGBT Iranians urging it to be removed. Davie, the BBC Director General, has been sent this strongly worded letter, copy below, by human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell, director of the Peter Tatchell Foundation. In his letter, Mr. Tatchell condemns the appalling homophobia of BBC Persian and its sickening apologia for the dictatorship in Iran and its seeming praise for jihad and martyrs culture. Mr. Tatchell is demanding a public apology and urging the dismissal of the director of BBC Persian. He is also calling for an independent inquiry into the administration, staffing, monitoring and content of the BBC Persian service, querying whether BBC Persian is infiltrated by staff who are apologists or possibly agents for the Iranian dictatorship. Open letter to the BBC Director General Davie to Director General of the BBC, Davie Director of BBC News and Current Affairs, Fran Ainsworth Director BBC World Service, Jamie Angus. Dear Davie, Jamie Angus and Fran Ainsworth, I would appreciate your prompt explanation of the shocking allegations of appalling homophobia on the BBC Persian language service website on December 28, 2020, as set out in the attached PDF. BBC Persian published a post describing LGBT+ people as hamjins boz, which I am told is the Persian language equivalent of the word faggot. It took huge protests from LGBT+ Iranians to get his disgusting language removed. The post went on to compare LGBT+ people to opium addicts and people who have sex with their siblings. Again, only after protests was this deleted, but it was replaced by the equally offensive insult gabahat, which apparently means abomination. This echoes official homophobic views of the Iranian tyranny. The post also seems to praise this tyranny in words similar to those used by state propagandists in Tehran. It allegedly includes praise such as, "The Islamic Republic benefited Iranian citizens by cutting the hands of foreigners, promoting jihad and martyrs culture." It is reprehensible and unacceptable that the BBC promotes hate speech and apologia for a dictatorship. Moreover, on July 6, 2019, BBC Persian TV broadcast a news story seemingly mocking what it allegedly described as so-called LGBT. This video is still online and requests by LGBT+ Iranians to remove it have been ignored. The outcry among LGBT+ Iranians at these two incidents have prompted is evidence that they cannot be explained away as people not understanding Farsi or the nuances of Iranian culture. The fact LGBT+ Iranians are so angry and upset suggests that BBC Persian is guilty of gross repeated homophobia. I am urging the BBC to make the following amends. I would like an inquiry into persistent allegations that BBC Persian is infiltrated by staff who are apologists or possibly agents for the Iranian dictatorship. It has been long alleged that the Iranian regime has a secret program to place people supportive of its policies and objectives in Western media and political circles. Please explain what vetting is undertaken by the BBC when appointing staff to BBC Persian to ensure they are not officially or unofficially agents or apologists for the Iranian dictatorship. Can you advise me what LGBT+ awareness and sensitivity training is given to BBC Persian and other BBC World Service staff, who are often from countries where anti-LGBT+ prejudice, discrimination and violence is the norm. I would be grateful to know what procedures are in place to monitor the content of BBC Persian to ensure that its output conforms to BBC journalistic and ethical standards. Furthermore, the alleged non-reporting or biased reporting by BBC Persian of human rights abuses of minority nationalities in Iran, such as the Baluch, Wazi Arabs and Kurds, has been subject to long-standing criticisms and seems to defy the BBC's remit of truthful, fair and objective reporting. It smacks of de facto racism by admission towards these persecuted ethnic minorities. I would like this investigated as well. I am urging that you appoint an independent inquiry into the administration, staffing, monitoring and content of the BBC Persian service. Please advise at your earliest convenience. Many thanks, Peter Tatchell, Director, Peter Tatchell Foundation.
Peter Gary Tatchell, born January 25, 1952, is a British human rights campaigner, originally from Australia, best known for his work with LGBT social movements. Tatchell was selected as the Labour Party's parliamentary candidate for Bermondsey in 1981. He was then denounced by party leader Michael Foot for ostensibly supporting extra-parliamentary action against the Thatcher government. Labour subsequently allowed him to stand in the Bermondsey by-election in February 1983, in which the party lost the seat to the Liberals. In the 1990s he campaigned for LGBT rights through the direct action group Outrage, which he co-founded. He has worked on various campaigns, such as Stop Murder Music against music lyrics allegedly inciting violence against LGBT people and rights, and broadcasts on various human rights and social justice issues. He attempted a citizen's arrest of Zimbabwean President Robert Mugabe in 1999 and again in 2001. In April 2004, he joined the Green Party of England and Wales and in 2007 was selected as prospective parliamentary candidate in the constituency of Oxford East, 456, but in December 2009 announced he was standing down due to brain damage he says was caused by a bus accident as well as damage inflicted by Mugabe's bodyguards when Tatchell tried to arrest him in 2001. And by neo-Nazis in Moscow while campaigning for gay rights. Since 2011 he has been the director of the Peter Tatchell Foundation. Peter Tatchell at his home in 2007. Tatchell was born in Melbourne, Australia. His father was a lathe operator and his mother worked in a biscuit factory. His parents divorced when he was 4 and his mother remarried soon afterwards. Since the family finances were strained by medical bills, he had to leave school at 16 in 1968. He started work as a signwriter and window dresser in department stores. Tatchell claims to have incorporated the theatricality of these displays into his activism. Raised as a Christian, Tatchell says that he ditched his faith a long time ago and is an atheist. It is widely reported that Tatchell is a vegan. However, Tatchell himself only states that he eats no meat, but does eat eggs, cheese, and, according to Richard Fairbrass, wild salmon, meaning Tatchell is a pescatarian. He became interested in outdoor adventurous activities such as surfing and mountain climbing. Speaking on BBC Radio 4's Any Questions about how insurance and legal risks were making British teachers reluctant to take pupils on outdoor adventures, he said outdoor activities helped him develop the courage to take political risks in adult life. Tatchell's political activity began at Mount Waverley Secondary College, where in 1967 he launched campaigns in support of Australia's Aboriginal people. Tatchell was elected secretary of the school's Student Representative Council. In his final year in 1968, as school captain, He took the lead in setting up a scholarship scheme for Aborigines and led a campaign for Aboriginal land rights. These activities led the headmaster to claim he had been manipulated by communists. He joined the Australian campaign against the death penalty. Prompted by the impending hanging of Ronald Ryan in 1967, Tatchell went round his local area painting slogans against the hanging, a fact he did not reveal until nearly 30 years later. Ryan was accused of killing a prison warder while escaping from Pentridge Prison in Coburg, Victoria. Tatchell claimed, unsuccessfully, that the trajectory of the bullet through the warder's body probably made it impossible that Ryan could have fired the fatal shot. In 1968, Tatchell began campaigning against the American and Australian involvement in the Vietnam War, in his view a war of aggression in support of a brutal and corrupt dictatorship responsible for torture and executions. The Victoria state government and Melbourne City Council attempted to suppress the anti-Vietnam War campaign by banning street leafleting and taking police action against anti-war demonstrations. In 2004, he proposed the renaming of Australian capital cities with their Aborigine place names,